This series of tractor photographs were all photographed at my father-in-law's property up in Central California, in Livingston, California. The series precisely of the three tractors, there's the winter tractor, which is the very first photograph I did in this whole series of night photographs, and the spring tractor, which is the blooming trees of an almond tree, and then the summer tractor, which is the same tree, the same tractor in the same location of the summertime with green leaves filling the tree. And I'll just give you all a little background as to this whole series and what's going on. That I did several shots of other tractors, and you could look at those also, but winter tractor was the very, very first of the series where I was photographing at night outside with little pin light flashlights. I literally photographed the tractor over several hours with just a very small, pin light, mag light flashlight, where I would, paint the tops of the tractor and paint the tires and walk around and paint the tree and the ground and the road and different things. And it took hours and hours to do this. But because it's so very dark up in the country in the wintertime, I can get away with using a very small little flashlight. And some of the background to this is that this is photographed just literally after the passing of my father-in-law. I had married his daughter, and then within a few months, he was diagnosed with cancer, which is very sad and moving, and had passed on just several months after we had that news. It was very difficult for everybody involved, the family and, his wife and his children. And I had known Cause for many years. I had been visiting the property with my then girlfriend, Lynn, and been involved for, some time, and visited the property and always looked at these tractors and always thought to myself, I really got to photograph those someday. They are so interesting and have a lot of character to them and kind of represent, my father-in-law and all that he does and did and farmed the land for so many years. And at some point after his passing, it was so moving and difficult for all of us, and I'm not a very eloquent person. I can't really express myself with words as much as I maybe can with a photograph. So I thought this was an appropriate time now to finally do something about it, and I chose to photograph several of the implements on his farm that he's had outside for years and years, and I started photographing these tractors. I kind of mentioned to my wife, kind of tongue-in-cheek, but not necessarily totally as a joke, that with all these pictures I'm doing at night and painting with light and long exposures, and you see the background with the trees, that you never know what might come up on the film digitally. Whether I'm not saying we'll see your dad's ghost or anything kind of that cliche, but you never know. You see like a streak of light or something, or it's just, I'm smart enough to realize I don't know everything of what's going on in this amazing world we live in. There's so many things we don't understand. I was very open to, you just never know. So as I did these photographs and worked for many hours at night painting with light and got, literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of exposures from different tractors and different pieces, when I finally came home to my house in Los Angeles and was putting these all back together again, when everything was said and done, I kind of feel like I do, in a way, see her father's spirit. Not so much as a ghost and some dreamy, ridiculous cliche of a figure in the background. But when I look at these pictures and I look at the lighting and I look at the actual objects and all that it entails and all the history that's involved, I really do feel in some way that I do see Cause's spirit. That's my father-in-law, Cause. Kazuo Takahashi was his name, but I really feel like you see his spirit in these tractors and the trees and the light and the grounds and the sky and everything involved. That in some odd way, it was actually him there that I'm looking at. Sort of like the photograph of the Corvette in the garage is kind of an extended family portrait. There's just no people in it. To a degree, this is almost a portrait of Cause and what he represents and what he stood for and the dignity and integrity that he shared every day with people who knew him, were so impressed by him, as I was. Then I think it's just, in some odd, strange way, and it's not really possible for me to put into words, so I am grappling with words now, that it is a gift from him to me, that in addition to marrying his daughter, this wonderful woman who makes my life so much more comfortable and easy, and we share our lives together, that he gave me this gift now, which started off with just a photograph of a tractor in the fields and kind of grew from there, and more tractors, and now it's telescopes and jet fighters and Navy divers and tanks and trucks, and I'm kind of growing and expanding and sharing with everybody else who looks at these pictures the integrity and character and honor and dignity that all these people bring to the table when they do their job, when they pursue their passions. And it all really did literally start from this one tractor at night with a bare tree from my father-in-law Cause, and that's kind of the background. Life is indeed interesting and strange and wonderful and unusual, and I would say totally unpredictable, and kind of here's where we are now. So that's that.